For more than 2,000 years, an unassuming farming village in eastern China lived beside a mystery it never questioned. Scattered across the landscape were several rectangular ponds, quiet, dark, and seemingly ordinary. They provided fish. They supplied water. They reflected the sky like any other body of water. Yet for generations, villagers were warned never to swim in them, never to disturb them, and never to ask too many questions. No one could explain why. The ponds were believed to be bottomless. Children tested them with bamboo poles. The poles vanished beneath the surface without resistance. Adults tried longer tools. Nothing ever did. The poles always came back clean, as if they had never touched mud or stone. Over time, the mystery became part of local folklore, acknowledged, accepted, and quietly avoided. That changed on June 18, 1992. On that morning, a lifelong resident of the village stood staring into the water of one of these ponds, unsettled by something that refused to leave his mind. Weeks earlier, a villager had pulled an unusually large fish from the water, nearly 18 pounds. The species was known to inhabit deep environments. Combined with the long-standing belief that the ponds had no bottom, the catch raised a question that would no longer stay buried. What if the stories were true? Against the advice of nearly everyone around him, the villagers pooled their money to rent an industrial water pump. The plan was simple: drain one pond and finally learn the truth. Most assumed the effort would fail within days. If the pond truly had no bottom, the pump would never win. They were wrong in a way no one expected. The pumping began, and it did not stop. Day after day, the machine ran continuously. After 5 days, the water level had dropped only slightly. After a week, it was clear this was no ordinary pond. The villagers took shifts, keeping the pump running around the clock. What began as curiosity slowly turned into obsession. Then something emerged. As the water receded inch by inch, a straight line appeared beneath the surface. At first, it seemed like an illusion caused by rippling water and exhaustion. But as more water drained away, the line sharpened. A right angle appeared, then another. Nature does not produce perfect corners. What was emerging from the so-called bottomless pond was a staircase. Stone steps, carved with precision, descended directly into the darkness below. The sight silenced the villagers gathered at the edge. This was not erosion. It was not a collapsed structure. It was deliberate human construction, hidden underwater for centuries. The pumping continued. 17 days after it began, the pond was completely drained. What remained was not a pond at all, but a vertical stone shaft leading deep underground. The staircase descended steeply, its walls carved from solid rock, slick with moisture, marked by unmistakable tool grooves. One man descended first, carrying a flashlight. Step by step, he counted as the air grew colder and heavier. 40 steps, 50, 60. Then the staircase opened into something vast and impossible to comprehend from the surface. He had entered a massive underground chamber. The flashlight beam could not reach the far walls. Stone pillars rose from the floor in perfectly aligned rows, each one thick, uniform, and towering upward into darkness nearly 30 meters above. The space was enormous. Later measurements would place it at more than 12,000 square feet, larger than 2 basketball courts combined. The ceiling height alone rivaled an 8-story building. Every surface was marked with parallel chisel lines, precise and consistent, as if carved by machines rather than hand tools. The pillars were not rough supports, but carefully shaped structural elements, each capable of bearing extraordinary weight. Gutters, bridges, pools, and secondary chambers branched outward in multiple directions, and everything was preserved. Despite being submerged for centuries, the stone appeared almost new. There was no suet on the ceilings, no smoke residue from torches, no signs of collapse, no debris from incomplete work. It was as if the chamber had been sealed intentionally, protected by the very water that concealed it. Word spread quickly. Within days, experts arrived from across China: archaeologists, geologists, engineers. But others arrived as well, men in dark suits who did not take measurements or photographs. They spoke quietly among among themselves, avoided the villagers, and soon erected fences restricting access to the site. What had begun as a local discovery now felt like a controlled operation. The investigation revealed something far larger than a single chamber. The drained pond was part of an underground complex consisting of 24 separate caverns. Of those, 14 had collapsed over time. 10 remained structurally intact. Each followed the same design principles. Every cave had 4 sharply defined walls. One side descended steeply, the opposite sloped at precisely 45 degrees. Each had a single vertical entrance shaft with stairs and an elaborate drainage system at the base. None of the caves connected to one another, despite being separated in some places by less than half a meter of stone. That detail alone baffled engineers. Carving multiple massive chambers side by side, underground in total darkness, without accidentally breaking through into neighboring spaces, would be extraordinarily difficult, even with modern equipment. Yet whoever built these caves achieved it repeatedly, with astonishing precision. The scale of the project defied comprehension. Engineers estimated that approximately 1 million cubic meters of stone had been removed to create the caverns. That volume is equivalent to roughly 400 Olympic-sized swimming pools. Yet there was no trace of the excavated stone anywhere in the surrounding region. It did not appear in nearby walls, buildings, roads, or foundations. It had vanished entirely. Dating tests deepened the mystery. Pottery fragments and sediment analysis placed the construction around 230 BCE. Ancient China was meticulous in its record-keeping. Major construction projects, especially those requiring thousands of laborers over many years, were documented in detail, yet no historical text, imperial record, or local chronicle mentions the excavation of these caves. There is no emperor credited, no purpose stated, no explanation preserved. Even more puzzling was how the caves were illuminated during construction. In every known ancient underground site, soot from torches stains the ceilings and walls. Here, there was none. Sunlight could not have reached deep enough to allow such precise carving. The absence of light residue remains unexplained. Theories multiplied. Some proposed the caves were military installations, hidden staging areas for troops. Others suggested they were royal palaces, tombs, or ceremonial spaces. Yet no grave goods, no inscriptions, no weapons, and no ritual artifacts were found. Storage was considered, but flooding would have destroyed grain or supplies. Quarries were suggested, but the uniformity, symmetry, and absence of waste stone contradicted that explanation. One possibility disturbed researchers more than the others. What if the caves were built in secret and meant to be forgotten? There are historical precedents in China for the deliberate erasure of records. Entire libraries were destroyed under imperial orders. Names were removed from history. Technologies vanished when they conflicted with political priorities. A project of this scale disappearing from the record could only have happened intentionally. The water itself may have been part of the design. Engineers later concluded that long-term flooding had helped preserve the structural integrity of the caverns. Once drained, additional supports became necessary. The caves may have been meant to remain submerged, sealed from time. Similar structures discovered more than a century later, such as the Haitian grottos, appear to imitate the design but lack the same precision and scale. They were built nearly 1,500 years later, suggesting later generations attempted to replicate something they no longer fully understood. Today, only one of the Longyu caves is open to the public. The others remain restricted, officially due to safety concerns. Unofficially, the limited access ensures that what lies inside remains carefully controlled. After more than 30 years of study, no consensus has been reached. Who built the caves? Why they were carved? What they were meant to contain? Where the stone went? And why history is silent about them? The villagers once believed they lived beside bottomless ponds. What they were really living above was one of the largest and most precise underground excavation projects ever discovered. An achievement that should not exist according to everything we think we know about the ancient world. And more than 2,000 years later, it still refuses to explain itself,